Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the archived version of the developer commentary run of Mirror's Edge Catalyst that we did as a live stream. This run was done as part of a charity marathon benefiting the Prevent Cancer Foundation. It is presented without ads, and instead I would like to ask that if you enjoyed this content, please consider donating $1 or $2. You can find links that on the video and in the description. Enjoy. I can't remember what I was doing now, but I was testing something here. And the only way to test that was to replay this entire run, towards the VTOL. So I played this section probably like 30-40 times in a couple of days.
The thing is, that kind of stuff can be a bit soul-destroying, but it's, yeah.
I think it was something with the streaming of the VTOL ride itself.
This jump is, I like it, even though it's almost cruel. I don't think a lot of people die there.
No.
The slide down, but it's still, it just feels... it's just that you slam into something so quickly and then you have to jump from it immediately.
You're going to the wrong coordinates, idiot.
Yep.
Go after it, Faith.
This wall run has ended many runs. I can see why. There's something with that wall run that makes it not quite work out as it should. And I don't really know what. It's something, it's not like with the setup, it's with the proportions of it or something.
We had there was lots of people, including me, having huge issues with the wall run in the benefactor mission. When you run outside on the scaffolding, and you need to do a wall run, but the outer wall is just slightly angled inwards, and everybody just kept dying because they did something wrong. But and I talked to that was back when took the Viljar, who's one of the designers there, and just we looked at it and just like, there's absolutely nothing wrong here with the setup or anything. It was just purely a psychological thing from the people playing.
Yep.
And I think everything fixed itself when they added a bit of clutter around it, because then you didn't focus so much on the actual angle anymore.
At the landing pad, of course. The major way
And it's weird how Mirror's Edge is so... I don't think people necessarily realize how much they analyze the environment around them as they're playing, as they're running. But even those small angles matter.
What the hell? I can't let go here!
No, don't kill yourself. That would be stupid. I mean, get off when they pass by the building. Faith, get off now!
Okay, I'm at the top of the pump. Nothing broken. I think.
Sorry about that. My override didn't work. You have to
Where
make your way
are
over
we
to the big
now?
dog.
Right.
You know what? When you get to the top, you need to look down at the building.
I've been at the top. What am I looking at
okay.
for?
Try going down.
Down, there's the dice building, the old dice office.
Oh, right, there's that. Can you even see that from here?
Or maybe you need to slide down once. I don't remember.
Yeah, there's the old dice building logo is off on a building here somewhere. Can't quite remember where it is. It's very small too.
Yeah.
You squeezed it in somewhere. That's something you can look at. Or look for, rather. Somewhere here in the view.
To access prisoner data,
I like when you're this high up, and you can look around and you can see the Bauble Mall there. You can see the buildings, that big reflection building where you cross from anchor into the view, and And basically everything is exactly where it should be. I like that.
Yeah, that was a large part of my work in the last little bit of shipping this game. Because even when we shipped out the beta, if you went to a place, if you could go back to the beta and look at Anchor, large parts of it would be missing. Because the backdrop versions of things just weren't there. It wasn't set up correctly. Let's see.
I think this is the first mission you can start finding audio logs from with Kruger and Cat.
I am inexplicably bad at this today. People are losing count.
Oh, this is cool. I love how they keep talking about the cops as the dogs. That's actually not true. These buildings are called the dogs. The big pup and little pup. These two skyscrapers. Okay, I'm gonna check my Twitter.
I shouldn't be doing that. Why am I doing that? Oh.
How does Skype work? Can I?
You should be able to add her to the call if you have her on Skype.
I do soon. Let's see, contacts, add. There. Add the contacts.
That's what I wanted.
Okay. Can I just add to group call? Let's see.
Yep.
Hello.
Oh, that took the focus away from the game.
Hi guys.
Hi, Linnea.
Hello.
Hi. Nice to have you here.
Is my audio okay?
Sounds okay to me.
I can hear you.
Well, this is exciting because you're getting up to the other section that I helped art dress.
Oh, really?
The big server room?
Yeah, the server, like whatever you want to call it. I always feel like it's a scene from Tron. I think most of the game looks like a cooler version of the world that would inspire Tron.
Let's see here. You're dying a lot now.
Shh.
I do, and it would be a tremendous.
Didn't this section originally have a lot of moving, like the elevators would?
Yeah,
They still do move a little bit, but
they move a little. Yeah, but they move. Yeah.
Oh right, yeah, but they move when you hop onto them. They're not like
exactly
always going.
yeah. And it's a bit weird because there's a little bit of delay sometimes. So I've seen a bunch of players who don't know about it. They just keep going and jump into nothing.
So the idea was that
it's becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy now.
Oh, curses. I guess I'm seeing this delayed, but still.
Yeah.
But I think
I've had a chance to die like several times after that.
Nice.
Yeah.
John is asking what I worked on. I was a level artist, so I did a lot of, after the designers would do their magic and make it fun, I would make it pretty. and I did a few different areas. So one of the areas coming up, the server room, is one of the areas that I worked on, and the grid node
I'm
earlier
at the
was
bottom
also
of the
an area
elevator
I
shaft.
worked
What next?
on, just to clarify.
Yeah, you're close to the umbilical.
To the
Make your way through
elevator.
maintenance to the outside and then cross there.
Oh, thank God.
This better be worth it.
Oh, this isn't fair. The delay is much worse for me.
Yeah, because you've been
Yes.
watching a while.
Oh, sorry. I think you can refresh the
Yeah,
page.
you probably refresh and we'll get.
Okay, I'm gonna try that. Sorry.
I remember before we added all of the color and did like the final lighting passes, the city looked so different. I think a lot of us were,
What happened to your family?
I wouldn't say concerned, but just like wondering how we would get that classic Mirror's Edge look. But then once we started adding that color, all of a sudden, I think we were all kind of in love.
Yeah, I mean the world was a big white box environment for a very, very long time.
Extremely long, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we should probably have started painting the world a bit earlier, but
Yeah.
but
But it did turn out all right in the end, I think.
oh yeah, it did
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think it's.
Oh right, this one,
Here
the
you're
stupid fan, the
the-
stupid fan.
The fan, yeah.
Like I had to, because the thing is, I had to playtest this area, right? Because I was working on it, but I could never time the fan jump. I
You
was
died
so
'cause-
bad at the fan jump.
It's because it's not like you have to time it, and it's not
Yeah.
the way you're used to the rest of the stuff working in this game.
Yeah, exactly.
Up there.
Yep.
Yep. Oh.
I remember the first version of this room was like impossible to navigate. Everything looked exactly
Yeah.
the same, and it still does a bit. But I think.
But it also had some really, really cruel sections where it's like
that was
Wait.
me. I'm sorry.
no, but it was also a bit
Or like you could barely jump.
but it was also a bit like where we felt okay, this is Prisoner X. They all the players should be really skilled now.
True.
And sure they were skilled, but not like world-class players, all of them, including me. So I died a lot in this.
The thing is, like, I spaced some of the jumps so that, they would be, like, barely, and you would get that, like, heart-racing feeling and, like, stomach-sinking feeling, but I still couldn't time that stupid fan jump. Like, man, so hard. So there's actually, a few different ways to get around in here. It doesn't seem like it because the cable kind of leads you around a lot. But similar to, let's say, like the grid nodes, I guess, it's got about 3 or 4 different routes that you can take, and one is super, like, you just cut out all of the running, you just jump straight down, and there's a way to do it where you, like, don't die. Well, don't try it now, I just,
Why are we looking for the DICE logo and where? I think you can, so the thing is, you can see the DICE logo from the top of the tall building. I think if you look down to the right.
and I think it was also during the helicopter ride that she was on.
Oh, maybe you can see it there as well.
Yeah, you might have been able to. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, it's on that like curved building, which was similar looking to Glashuset,
Yeah.
which was our previous office.
Something was wrong with his emotional response
Those in the
algorithm
chat
that
that
he
don't
can't find the errors.
So there's a pipe. You don't. I don't think you. I think it's one of those. This is once again one of those places where having runner's vision actually helps you.
It does, yeah. I also have this. I should not try right now shortcuts, but I usually land on one of those where I did now. You'll catch up.
So I guess it's safe to say now, but if you actually look back down that corridor, I had an Easter egg there that got removed, but it was
Wait, one
it
more
was
thing.
2 Kruger sec
Grab
guards
anything you can
nodding
find
their
about
heads
Isabel
like Daft
Kruger.
Punk. That was the idea, at least, but they didn't like that. I think. They were
This
like,
also-
well, it's too similar.
This thing was, for the longest time, just Faith standing around doing
Staring at
nothing.
your hand, right?
Yeah, for the entire like voiceover scene there. And I think it was one of the. It's been just a few weeks before we were going final. I went like, "Oh, you were supposed to tell me if you had any scenes that weren't done in this game," and I had to like emergency put one in there. So that camera sequence is super late. Where am I? What am I doing? Oh.
So there's a question here. What do you devs think of the ME modding community? I actually, to be completely honest, I don't know that much about it.
No.
I'm sorry.
You can reach the lobby to the ventilation duct.
I do know that one of the level designers for Mirror's Edge, Catalyst, he actually did. He built a Mirror's Edge level when he applied for a job. Here's Scruffy. That was Lucas.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Janitor of the month.
Yeah, we that thing was actually patched in. Because we were like, we went to this in here and we didn't have time to add it.
No, I mean it's always spending you have so many bugs to fix, and then you want to add the Easter eggs, and you have to prioritize the bugs.
Yeah.
I remember there was like a really long discussion between a lot of the artists about how we wanted to do like the janitor and like homages to that.
Yep.
And there was a lot of back and forth in terms of like if we wanted to create a new character or just pretend that the old one was here or what. But I like this version of it, like just simple, straightforward. Yeah, hey, it's everyone's favorite.
Yeah. No, I actually wrote quite a few new things for the janitor to scribble. Yeah, but
Nice.
we never put them into the game because of because of the fact that they were Easter eggs and.
I always thought that would have made a really fun ARG to like lead up to the game's release. Be like notes from the janitor talking about.
That probably would have been pretty cool.
About like taking care of this rat. Like, hey guys, what do rats eat? Help, please.
This combat section was also incredibly hard for a while.
It was, yeah.
It just had never-ending spawns. I think enemies just kept coming and coming and coming and coming, and it was like.
There is a save point actually right after this combat, and before you take the train. And the only reason that save point exists was because I needed to test the section afterwards, and I just couldn't complete the combat because it was so hard in that version.
Yeah. There's a sentinel coming there. You don't have to fight the sentinel.
No, you have to, and in fact, none of the speedrunners do.
No.
They just sit around until this happens, and then you can get on the train.
I remember for the longest time, you guys probably remember because I was cursing a lot during those few weeks, but I was playing primarily on PC, and I think a lot of people were using controller to test stuff. And and I couldn't figure out how to do, that like sidestep dash thing that you do to rotate around the enemy?
Yeah.
Combat shift.
Yeah, the combat shift. I couldn't figure out how to do that on PC at all, so my combat was impossible. It was like I've had like two guys that I was up against, and they'd get me every single time. And granted, I'm not like amazing at combat, but it was absolutely impossible without the combat shift. So I'm really glad that I eventually figured that out.
The thing was, since we changed the combat quite a bit, we introduced new things, and since it's a big team. Everybody in the team didn't necessarily know about the changes, and then we play tested, and they played using old controls or
Yeah, we switched the controls around several times.
Yeah. So that was also interesting.
This will Okay, let's see. Do we have any... We have any side missions? We should have side missions. Yeah, we have the ones in the view. I should do the grid node first so we can fast travel around.
Hey, grid node!
Yeah.
I mean, you know, do whatever you want.
But grid nodes.
No preference for grid nodes in specific.
But there was a lot of stuff in the game that ended up sounding very similar. Like there was grid leaks, metagrid, grid node.
That's true.
And I started getting really confused because everyone was talking about these grid leaks, and I'm like, is there something I should be working on? Should I be thinking that? Is that something with the grid nodes? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think that's once again, it was a side effect of us. I think mainly me and Christopher really wanting to build a coherent universe where, you know, but we didn't want to call anything the internet, or, you know, we wanted our own words for those things. So the grid is basically the internet. But that also means that we use it for, you know, so a grid leak is basically data escaping from the net, and a grid node is basically
where
a big
information travels through.
Yeah, and stuff like that. So it makes sense, but it also sounds very much the same.
But I guess if you think about our language, it does as well, right? Like if you use the net, internet.
Yeah.
I don't know where else you would use it, but I suppose it's similar.
Yeah. So. How was the combat modified? I mean, stuff like we did switch controls around a lot. We you know tried several different implementations of the combat shift style. We of course tweaked you know, damage and health and how aggressive different AIs, you know, were or are. So combat changes a lot, and they do on other games as well, of course. I mean, the AI, I mean, especially I remember on BF3 was like one of the last things that got changed before we went gold, was probably AI.
BF3 had a terrible change right before we shipped the game, where we retweaked all of the difficulty values.
Yeah. So combat changed a lot during ME, because we had to, you know, first-person melee when you're sprinting is hard. So it changed a lot.
I would love to live in the view.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's a nice place.
Maybe not live in Cascadia per se, but like.
No, but you know, they've got good architects.
Yep.
Gravity-defying architects.
Yes.
Yep.
Wasn't the death like much scarier earlier on in the game? Because I remember before I joined the team, because you guys had been working on the game for quite a while, as I recall.
Why do I not get a springboard?
The
death was quite intense, I think, when I first joined.
It was pretty bad at some points.
Yeah. No, we talked about that a bit earlier in the stream. What the hell?
That is a weird. Like you should just have a springboard, but I guess it's the height that it's not high enough.
So, but we had some the screaming or the panicking as Faith is falling was a bit more scary or more panicky.
Yeah. I liked it. I mean, it got me the first couple times, but I mean, so was it like Lara Croft in the latest reboot when she dies? It's like super gut wrenching.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we were discussing it. I think it was on purpose toned down to make death a little bit less punishing, because you do die a lot in this game.
Yeah.
That's true.
Are we about at the point where we have the metagrid?
What is the justification for grid links existing just in arbitrary places around the real world? Oh, wasn't it because they were tied to like GPS coordinates, like
Yeah.
real world location tied?
Yeah,
to
something like so.
data
The
dropped in real
the
time?
in world fiction is actually that you're collecting. So there was a hack attempt at the lair, but Noah stopped it. But the data basically just got spread out around the city, and so it's basically Faith's job to get it all back before Kruger and.
Okay. I always thought it was like a runner had got that info, but then when they were in trouble, they dropped it and ran, right?
Yeah. I think we dropped it because we tied it to
Okay.
when you collect all the
That's very
when
black.
when you collect the grid leaks, you for every 20 or so you unlock a episode of the Icarus audio story, the Icarus and Noah.
Right.
The
This is like a very
there's actually a
complicated
VO
subject.
for that in the game, and it's probably one of the least heard VOs in the entire game, because it's right between, it's like sandwiched between some of the early missions in the game when the grid leaks unlock.
Yeah.
And it's really like hard to, it doesn't really have the space it needs.
No, and you're focusing on other things. when
Yeah, you are.
in
You're
a place,
you're running
yeah.
to a place and you're doing a thing. And
$80 of dying.
where are we at?
Yay, more grid nodes.
Okay, grid node. We have a donation from Linnea. Thank you very much.
Of course, it's a great cause.
More monies for good things. And then another donation from Pabs saying greetings to Linnea.
Uh-huh.